Welcome to Celebration Conversations. I'm your host, Sarah Taylor Young. Join me each week as I talk to singer songwriters, artists, and friends about how they have turned their pain into purpose. Here at Celebration Conversations, it is my hope that you find motivation and celebration in your own journey. Let's get to it. So today I am with Miss Alayna, country music artist. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me tell you, your story has been very inspiring to me. You posted recently about having to go to the hospital recently. Um,
Yeah.
what what was that like? Just getting all that out there into the open. I'm sure it took a lot of courage.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a while. Someone actually advised me to not do it, but it was really just weighing on my heart and I felt like I had to just, let it go. So it was kind of scary, to push the button post, but I'm glad that I did it and it seems to hopefully maybe have helped some people.
Heck yeah, it was inspiring to me. Just somebody being that authentic, was really good. Tell me about how you kind of got into music.
Um, I started playing piano when I was 7 years old, and I took classical piano lessons for about 15 years. And throughout that time, I picked up the guitar and started teaching myself some chords there. And actually, I had a youth pastor, teach me some chords too. And then I really, really always wanted to sing. So I was never allowed to have singing lessons, but I just tried to teach myself as best that I could and try to get involved in stuff like choirs and musicals, things like that. And songwriting, I wrote my first song when I was about 12, but I didn't realize like what I was doing or what I could do. And so I picked it back up a few years later. And songwriting wise, I guess I consider myself a little bit of a late bloomer, but I've been writing songs ever since then. And that's basically the lowdown.
Yeah, yeah. I read in Dolly Parton's one of her books. She has so many, gosh. She was talking about how she wrote the first time she wrote a song was about her little corncob doll, and she was like maybe 7 or, in that age bracket. So I think it's just how we don't realize we're coming up with a song. I just
Yeah.
think it's really cool. It's like, well, you just came up with that song. That's a song. Really? Yes. Like,
Yeah.
um, my little girl, she never ceases to amaze me. She she makes up songs all the time and she's just 4. Like she yes, like bless her heart, she has a little bit of a speech delay with, kind of comprehending and getting speech out. But she swaps words around all the time on purpose with songs. And I'm like, you're just a little born songwriter. So
In the family.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. So tell me about your recent single, Break It Down. I saw the video. Amazing. Tell me about how you wrote that, who was kind of with on the project with you, who produced it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Break It Down is actually kind of an older song. We wrote it in 2012, and I wrote it with a couple good friends of mine, this married couple, Kenny and Janelle Angel. And it was our first write together, and it just kind of came out in one session, and it was really, really smooth. And the recording is a bit older too. It's from 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there. And we did that at Beard Music Studios here in Nashville. And so that was produced by Larry Beard um, back in 2012. So yeah, I'm really excited that it's out there and that people are enjoying it.
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind that song?
I had the title Break It Down. I knew I wanted to write a song, something about walls coming down. And so when I brought it into the session, we just kind of brainstormed everywhere and wrote it line by line. And it's basically about the singer is hurt from a past relationship or some sort of past pain, and they found this great person and they want them to help them break down the walls. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of walls do you feel like you've been able to break down recently in your journey?
For myself personally,
Yeah.
oh, that's such a good question. Just being even more vulnerable. Um, like when I made that post, just being even more vulnerable and just trying to be I'm just trying to be authentic, and like there's a lot of layers to that that some people are afraid, to be blunt or tell the truth, and like that's like a process for me even, and like as much as I already write songs that are super blunt and very honest, like there's still even more layers of authenticity I think that we could break down.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't really until I really started this podcast until I started kind of breaking down my walls because, it's such a taboo subject, mental health. It's like you think anybody that struggles with it is insane. I mean, it's like that's the only story you hear about. You don't hear as much about, well, she struggles with anxiety, they struggle with depression, or we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And it's like a certain amount of shame that comes over it. Have you felt that way? Yeah, and I was told when I was younger, don't tell anybody about, like, it was this big secret, and but a diabetic would tell people if they were diabetic.
Yeah.
It's something else. We don't really talk about it as much. It needs to be talked about and brought to the forefront, um, and not made such taboo and, "Oh, let's not talk about that. Let's just, sweep it under the rug," and all that. Do
Yeah.
you find that it helps you, um, to kinda connect with other people and know, "Hey, they've had those some similar goals?"
Yeah, I love, having great friends around me where we can be honest with each other, and that's, I think, also part of building a relationship with someone is getting to be more and more real and authentic and being able to have those kinds of conversations.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because otherwise it's just very on the surface level type stuff. Yeah. Like, "How's the weather today?" "Great." Or, there are
Right.
only so many things you can talk about with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what you said earlier was so true because I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandma was always very like, exactly what you said, just like sweeping under the rug, like don't let the neighbors know what we're doing or whatever, like, that kind of thing. And that could partly be because of that generation. Um,
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it. But yeah, um, I totally know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, yeah, and there's so much, like, shame that comes with that too, like, "Don't tell anybody." "Okay, well, then that means this must be some terrible thing that," but, like, I bet you if you looked at the population, about 75% of the population deals with something, and 25% are lying. That's that's just kinda how I feel about it, we are all human beings. We are all living in this imperfect life, you know? It's my belief that the only perfect person that walked this earth was Jesus, and even he struggled. So it's just we just have to we have to get to a point where we're real with one another. And I think that needs to come through our music and our television. It needs to come through our media outlets. So I so appreciate you being vulnerable. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. I so appreciate you being vulnerable and being willing to open up about your story. Tell me kind of, for those that don't follow you, tell me about that post you made about going to the hospital and what that was about and what kind of led up to that.
Yeah, sure. Like I said before, I was kind of nervous to post it, and but I'm glad that I did. And it basically just gave a quick, brief summary of what happened. So I was at work. I work at a boot store in downtown Nashville, and my thoughts had just been going darker and darker the last couple weeks, and this happened back in July 2020, so that was last year. But I think it might have to do some, a little bit with the pandemic too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was self-harming at work, and then my boss called the ambulance, and I had no idea that he had done that. So when they showed up, I was so scared because there was like 10 or 12 dudes around me, like in a semicircle, and it was like, what is going on?
I admit it, or I,
Yeah,
I'm innocent or whatever.
I had no idea what was going on. And then was resisting a little bit, but then I just like got escorted out to the ambulance, and they took me off to the hospital, and I was there for about 4.5, 5 days in the psych ward. So yeah, that the post was just basically about that. It was probably shorter than what I explained just now, but I'm just trying to summarize.
Sure, sure. Well, tell me kind of how you were after. What did you do to get well again?
Well, when I was in the hospital, they gave me a new antidepressant. I can't pronounce it.
Join the club. Yeah.
But they gave me a new antidepressant, and I went to a bunch of what they call group sessions in the hospital. They have these every day, and you get together and you talk about different things like, how to get better, like goals for yourself, how to create a good support system, and
Mhm.
you start feeling those feelings again, and you're, debating on whether or not to take action on them or not. But yeah, those things really helped in the hospital, and definitely having, my fiance with me. He's been so supportive through all of this too.
That makes such a big difference, when you have somebody that you love, especially a somebody you're dating or somebody you really like. With my husband, we started dating and I wanted to get everything out there. I wanted to I didn't want to have any secrets when we started dating, and I had just come out of a divorce myself. So I was very hesitant to get involved at all. I was married to an abusive husband first time around, and with Adam, I didn't want to, or you have an Adam too, right? Yes. Yes, but I didn't wanna mess around. I like, second date, I was just like, "I struggle with anxiety, and I take medication for it. How do you feel about that?" I just whoosh, threw it out there, and he was like, "Okay." That
Okay.
response alone was just like, "I don't care. You're an awesome person." And, have you felt like that with your fiancé?
Oh yeah, he puts up with a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, he just never seems like you're Adam. He just never seems like it's too much for him or it's a burden. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, I'm gonna be there with you through it all. So yeah, we both have some great Adams.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. You guys are getting married this year,
Yes.
right? When's the date?
It's in May. It's May 22nd.
Okay, are you getting excited?
I am. I'm so excited. I've got you know how they have like those Fit Fab Fun or whatever box subscriptions?
Yes.
Yeah, I have like a box of like a wedding box subscription that comes to my house. It's give you like little wedding stuff and it's really exciting. It's cute.
Very cool. I When we got married, I didn't even know that kind of stuff existed. So very, very cool. You've got your dress. I've been following you on Facebook. You've got your dress or Insta, one of the two. You've got your dress and your bridesmaids. What is it like planning a wedding during a pandemic?
Right, I know. It's very I mean it's still fun. Like I'm having a blast, you know.
Good.
It's a little bit uncertain, you know, cuz like so many people last year it's terrible. Like they had to cancel their wedding or postpone their wedding. That's so sad, you know, cuz it's the big one of the biggest days of your life, you know.
Yeah.
It's been all right, you know. It hasn't I don't think that I think the pandemic is slowly going away
Thank
and people are
God.
vaccines and everything. And so my wedding is going to be mask optional. But I'm really, really excited for it. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you gonna do any live performing or anything?
Not,
Okay.
I'm going to use a DJ and we're going to have a good time. That's my day off.
Yeah, I don't blame you right there. Like, you know, enjoy every second. It felt like it went like that for me, and if I had to do it all over again, I wish I had a wedding planner because I had so many people coming up, Sarah, what about this? Sarah, what about that? I'm like, I don't know. I gotta get ready. you know? So tell me, what are some coping mechanisms you've kind of had for mental health, anxiety, depression, things like that, that you've found that can help you with just everyday life?
Yeah. Um, Definitely talking to a friend or talking to somebody that you trust. I go to therapy pretty regularly, and so that's really helped me a lot. Another coping mechanism would be music, of course, writing
Yeah.
and getting into that.
Yeah. What about like positive self-talk or anything like that? Do you use any kinds of things like that?
I do. I should more though.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I battle with a lot of negative thoughts, but I do try to remember to use positive affirmations like I am talented, I
Yes.
am loved. That's a big one for me. I am loved. I have to say that quite a bit to myself. I am loved. I am talented. You know, I am beautiful. I am wonderfully made, you know, stuff like that.
Yes. I feel like those seeds of negativity get planted along our
Yeah.
journeys at some point. And it's hard to, excuse me, pinpoint exactly when okay, this is the moment I started feeling XYZ, you know, but you
Yeah.
can probably pinpoint it to like something you felt as a child. Somebody told me, my girl Karen Williams, she told me that trauma doesn't have to be this life altering thing. It's defined by something that affects you and
Mhm.
continues to affect you. So that could be, name calling when you're a child. That could be that's trauma. That's trauma. That's something that continues to affect you on a daily basis. Do you feel like those seeds were planted maybe when you were kind of growing up or younger?
Yeah. Yeah, I was raised by my grandparents, and a lot of times they were very verbally abusive towards me.
Mm,
You're not going anywhere, you're hopeless, you're worthless, you're helpless, you're stupid, that kind of stuff. And so, you know, all those seeds get planted, like you said. And if you hear them over and over and over again, not just one day, but like multiple days, and that turns into months and that turns into years. And then you start to believe that,
yeah,
and it takes time to like undo it. I mean, I haven't undone it, completely. So it's like it definitely, yeah, for sure. Those seeds were definitely planted back then.
yeah, yeah, and it's like we have to reprogram our brains. Brianna Dominica, something she always tells me is, garbage in, garbage out, so if you input good things into your brain, even if you don't feel them, you
Yeah.
know, then you'll start to believe them. So affirmations I think are great. Like even if you don't feel them, okay? I feel good. Even if you don't feel bad. I feel pretty. Even if you don't feel pretty, you have to, there are neurotransmitters in your brain, something like that, that gets those going. So, um, where would you like to be in like a year from now with your music?
Oh my gosh. Just because of the pandemic and everything right now, that's a tough question. I'm
Yeah,
go
let's
ahead.
take the pandemic out of the mix. Let's say things are good in fall 2021. Life is normal as we know it this time next year.
I would love to have a publishing deal.
Yeah.
That would be cool, you know.
Yes, yes. For those that don't know or not musically inclined, what is a publishing deal?
It's basically where a company will sign you to write songs for them, and they will pitch your songs to, major artists or TV and film or whatever. They basically try to get cuts for you and generate money.
Yes. So you basically write songs for a living every day.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
That's on my dream to-do list. Yes, too. So we'll be this time next year, we'll be talking about it. Be like, remember when we were wanting to be XYZ and with our publishing deals? Yes.
Now we did
So now we
it.
did it. Yes, yes. So anyway, well, where can we find you on social media? Can we find you on Spotify? Where can we find all of your music?
Yeah. So I just go by Alayna, and you spell it Alayna. And you can definitely find me on Spotify. My latest single is called Break It Down, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I post just about weekly videos on my YouTube channel and TikTok. I'm trying. It's a
Right?
tough TikTok. I'm trying to
Yes.
figure. And then my official website is alaynasmusic.com.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I hear you about the TikTok. I've been trying to figure that out, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna get a new version of this like next week, and then we'll have to figure out everything
Yeah.
else. Well, I wish you well with your wedding. What would you like to say before we go to encourage somebody out there maybe struggling with suicidal thoughts or just mental health in general, and they haven't gotten help?
I would say it's not the end. Your story isn't over. And please reach out. Um, you are loved. And yeah, that's what I would say.
One more question. Do you feel like those people, do you have any resentment towards the people who maybe called the ambulance, or do you feel like they were genuinely trying to help?
I at first was angry. I was mad at my boss. I was because I remember when I left, I said, why he was standing right there, and I said, why do you hate me, or why are you doing this to me or something? And he said, it's because we care about you, Alayna.
Yeah.
So I know now that it was done out of good intentions.
Yeah, I think that that is the definition of love when you are trying to do something for somebody else and they may not like it. You're trying to look out for their well-being beyond what they can see, you know.
Yeah,
Um and looking back, are you kind of grateful that they did something?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I am for sure. Now I have like a new antidepressant, and I've been doing so much better. I've been doing so much better. Way, 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 way less suicidal thoughts, and I'm glad I went through the experience.
Yeah, yeah, it just makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
I remember, side note, I remember when I was going through postpartum, I went through postpartum OCD with my daughter. And um, it got so bad that I had to get on medication and had to stop breastfeed. I was so anal about my child. I wanted things to be perfect and I felt like if I don't breastfeed then I'm a bad mom, which is not true. But my husband had to say, "Honey, if you don't take this medicine, you're going to get worse. And I would rather you get better than worry about breastfeeding." Like you've got to weigh the things. I was so mad at him that day for telling me that, but it was the truth. And I'm so glad he did that because I got 10 times better, like within 24 hours. So,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. People, that really, really love you, they'll tell you the honest truth about things, you know. So, anyway, on that note, thank you so much for for being a guest on here today. What is your latest single? Your latest single is Break It Down. Yes, go view that on YouTube, you guys. Visit her on Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff. What is your website again?
Alayna'sMusic.com.
Okay, and you're on Patreon too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't talk about it a whole lot because I hate being salesy, but I am on Patreon.
Yes, me and my husband gotta get one of those going too for our ministry and everything, so say that
Yeah,
again,
it's really
sorry.
sorry. It's really fun, actually.
Yes, yeah, and you get paid, like
Yeah, it helps out.
yes, every little bit helps. Well, thank you again. I will let you know when this airs.
Okay,
Alright.
awesome.
Hey there, don't go just yet. Be sure to hit subscribe to be notified of new episodes of Celebration Conversations. Show us some support by liking and sharing to inspire followers and friends alike. Follow me at S Young Music on Instagram. I would love if you left a comment or a review about the episode.